Hey Ethan, what's going on?
Izzy, it's amazing to be back here in the studio talking about one of our favorite topics. So we're having kind of a jam session today, right? To learn some advanced English phrasal verbs.
Yeah, we are. So we have 5 songs, maybe more. I've set aside more, but we'll see if we have time for all of them. And these are from artists, from singers that you guys listening and watching us should probably know. And that's basically what we're going to do today. You'll learn dozens of useful phrasal verbs in English in the best way possible with music. I'll sing, actually, Ethan, so be ready to listen to me singing. I've practiced.
I'm looking forward to it.
So I'll sing, and together you and I will break down the advanced vocabulary, and if we dare, also the meaning behind the lyrics.
Oh, yeah. And Izzy, what do you mean when you say if we dare?
If we are courageous enough, if we're brave enough, we're going to take the challenge and try it, or I will. In the case of singing, but in the case of analyzing the meaning behind the lyrics, because we can be way off, right? It's possible. Like these lyrics, a lot of times, the artist, the composer meant one thing and they're just misinterpreting it, right?
Totally. And sometimes they want to leave it open to interpretation, meaning that they want whoever's listening to be able to find the meaning that is appropriate for them within the lyrics. And with that word to dare, it's good to know too that we can use that to dare someone else. Like this is like when your kids playing truth and dare. I don't know if you have a similar game in Brazil where
we do.
It's very uncomfortable game too, because it's like either you have to say, people will ask you a question, you have to answer it truthfully, usually like a very personal question,
embarrassing,
or you have to do a dare, which is also something very embarrassing, right? Usually.
Yeah.
So, Izzy, I dare you to sing a song by Dua Lipa.
All right. So this is Don't Start Now. I think everyone knows this. I thought I didn't know. Like when you presented it to me, Ethan, I was like, I don't know any songs from Dua Lipa. And then I listened to it. I was like, oh no, I totally know this. I can definitely sing it. I love it. So it goes like this. If you don't want to see me dancing with somebody, if you wanna believe that anything could stop me, don't show up, don't come out, don't start caring about me now. Walk away, you know how. Don't start caring about me now. On to the guy who...
Man, Izzy, that song is just so catchy. It's really hard not to sing along with you. I bet people listening are probably singing along, hopefully.
It's totally catchy. And by the way, what does that mean?
If something is catchy, it's that it makes you want to sing along, dance, with it. It's just any sort of sticky pop song, bubblegum pop.
It's like bubblegum in your mind, in your brain. So let's look at the lyrics. That's the chorus, by the way. Don't show up, don't come out. So 2 interesting phrasal verbs already there for us to look at. What does that mean, to show up?
If you show up, you appear somewhere, and usually it has this extra meaning that it's unexpected. So if I said, you'll never believe who showed up at the party last night, it's like this person came and I wasn't expecting them to come. And then come out, we have come out. So it's like towards the person that's speaking, or go out, away from the person that's speaking, that have the same meaning. And it basically means to leave the house, to go somewhere. Usually when we say this, we mean that we're going to a restaurant, going out to a party, going out to a club, or something like this. Going out to paint the town red. That's a really nice expression, meaning that you're going to go out and have a wild time.
Nice. And with the phrasal verb show up, that made me think of another one, pop up, which can be used sometimes like the same way, right? Like a person may pop up somewhere, meaning show up unexpectedly.
Yeah. We also use that for if maybe something pops up in conversation, meaning that
like a thing.
All of a sudden a topic kind of unexpectedly appears in the conversation.
Nice. Yeah. I think it's better to say pop up in that case instead of a show up. You wouldn't say that a topic showed up in the conversation, right?
Exactly.
All right. So let's go to the next line. She says, don't start caring about me now. Walk away. You know how. So again, 2 phrasal verbs there, to care about and walk away. So to care about, I think it's more basic, but it is important to know that the preposition there that you would use with care is about, in the sense that you are showing concerns for another person. You want to know where they are. You care about what happens to them, right? So you care about. And walk away.
To walk away is to leave. And so based on all these phrasal verbs, if someone isn't sure what the song is about, it's probably that she ended a relationship with someone. And now she's saying, you know, I'm going to go out with my friends, have fun, dance, whatever. And if you don't want to see me having fun, meeting other people and so on, then you better stay home.
Dancing with somebody.
Exactly. If you come out, if you try to find me, you're probably going to be jealous. And this like walk away too, oftentimes it's used with relationships, like someone is abandoning the relationship. So she's saying like, walk away, you know how, kind of saying when we were together, you know, you often were leaving me. So it's just, you know, stay away from me, go away.
Mm-hmm. Keep doing that. You're good at it.
Yeah.
You've walked away so many times.
It's like a bit sarcastic.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to move on to another popular song, Izzy. But one thing I did want to point out too with phrasal verbs is just the pronunciation that we have almost always connected speech when it comes to phrasal verbs, right? Because a phrasal verb is made up of a verb and what's called a particle, which is usually a preposition. And so we have content and function words in English, like the content words, like verbs, nouns, adjectives, they hold the core meaning of the phrase, whereas function words, which are usually different types of linking words, reduce. And so this happens with phrasal verbs that will like show up, right? That we reduce the up, and the W from show, which is fully pronounced, links to the up, or so show up or come out, right? Caring about, walk away. Yeah. So it's good to practice that these always are linking together like that.
True. They're word chunks. They're natural word chunks in English, right?
So what's the next song you're going to jam out for us, Izzy?
All right. So this one can be challenging because it is Lady Gaga who is singing. It's from the movie A Star Is Born, right?
I think it actually won an Oscar for...
It did.
I'm not sure if it was like best composition or something like that.
Best song, I think. And it's with Lady Gaga and what's his name singing?
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper. That was an amazing performance, by the way. I was watching it the other week and it is just like so captivating. So Shallow, which is the name of the song, goes like this, the chorus. I'm off the deep end, watch as I dive in. I'll never meet the ground. Crash through the surface where they can't hurt us. We're far from the shallow now. In the shallow.
And that's a challenging song. I'm impressed that you can sing that.
Yeah, but I practiced. When it came out in 2019, I think, I was singing it all the time. And I do remember that the lyrics... she's creating this metaphor with like pool and swimming and maybe drowning or something, right? So let's see, maybe we can even explain some of the expressions here that are not exactly phrasal verbs, but they are more advanced native expressions. So she starts by saying, I'm off the deep end, right? I'm off the deep end. So what is that if you're off the deep end? So
swimming pools, they tend to have a shallow end and a deep end. And so like, you know, kids, for example, shouldn't go in the deep end, right? But figuratively, when we say someone is off the deep end, it's like they've gone crazy. They've lost their mind. And it has connected speech there too. Deep end, the deep end. And that's how she sings, by the way. I'm off the deep end, connecting those words. And then she goes on to use a phrasal verb here. I'm off the deep end, watch as I dive in. So dramatic, right? If you dive in, it's like where if you are watching the video, right? It's like you're putting your hands like this in front of you and going head first into the water. But we'll use it figuratively. It's like you're fully committing to something. So if you dive into a relationship, it's almost like you're quickly throwing caution to the wind. There's an expression meaning that you're not thinking too much about it and you're just taking a risk. Not thinking about the consequences. Yeah. And you could also use this for like you're diving into a venture, for example. Maybe if you start your own company, again, you're just jumping in without thinking too much about it. So she goes on to saying, crash through the surface where they can't hurt us. So to crash through something, I can picture like a person doing like a cannonball, like diving into diving in the pool and like cannonball, they're crashing through the surface of the pool, right? It makes me think of a very iconic, maybe we could show this, like a very iconic scene from the typical American movie when I was a kid, Sandlot, about kids playing baseball. But the crash through, it's like the same as breakthrough. You might also, action movies, sometimes like the hero is crashing through a window on a motorcycle or something like this as well.
They're passing through it while also crashing, right? So it's a surface is something that you can crash through, or a window like glass usually, right? Or if you're like in a Looney Tunes movie, like you can crash through a wall. Right.
Yeah, I think she's using it, so this isn't like a common use of it, but I think it's being used with the same sort of meaning as dive in, of throwing caution to the wind, just jumping in without worrying too much about the consequences.
All right, so let's move on to the next song. This one is called The Days by Avicii. Do you know that one, Ethan?
I do, yeah. He's a phenomenal, like legendary DJ, right?
He is. Unfortunately, he passed away, but he was so talented. So this one goes like this. Under a tree where the grass don't grow, we made a promise to never get old. You had a chance and you took it on me, and I made a promise that I couldn't keep. So here immediately I can see, I think this is a phrasal verb, right? You had a chance and you took it on me.
So the phrase would be to take a chance on someone. I think there's a song that's like, take a chance on me. Take a chance on me. Gonna do my very best. It means that you are taking a risk on something. So if you take a chance on someone, it's maybe you're not so sure if it's going to work out. You're afraid, of committing in a relationship, but you take a chance anyway. You take the risk. So it's kind of similar to what we were looking at from Lady Gaga, right? Throwing caution to the wind, diving in.
It's a creative way to actually use that phrasal verb. Like you had a chance and you took it on me. You took that chance on me. So he follows that with like, I made a promise that I couldn't keep. So not a phrasal verb, but it's important to know that a promise is something that you can keep.
It's a collocation. To keep a promise, or to break a promise would be the opposite.
There you go. Yeah, it's important to know that. So anyway, that was the first verse, and it follows with the bridge to the chorus, singing, heartache, heartbreak, all over town, but something flipped like a switch when you came around, and I'm in pieces. Pick me up and put me together. These are the days we've been waiting for. Now this is rich with expressions here, right? With this second part. So heartache, heartbreak, all over town, but something flipped like a switch. It's an expression, like a switch, like when you turn on a light in your house, you flip a switch, right? So it happened like this.
Yeah.
Right? It happened instantly. But when you came around, something flipped like a switch. So what does that mean if someone comes around?
Come around means that you appear somewhere. So we had earlier show up, which has that sort of unexpected nature to it. But come around isn't necessarily exactly the same, but it does have this kind of like casual way about going to visit someone. So to give an example, maybe I call you up, Izzy, and I say, oh, do you mind if I come around later? And drop some things off, or maybe I could come around later. We could have coffee. Yeah,
it sounds casual, just like to pop somewhere too, like we were saying, right?
Pop in, pop by. Yeah, exactly.
Come around. And then he follows, and I'm in pieces, pick me up and put me together. So two phrasal verbs there, to pick someone up and to put them together.
Yeah, you could literally pick someone up, like pick a baby up or pick a dog up or cat up, right? It could also mean that you're giving that person support. And I think a really fun use of this actually can be as a noun, like a pick-me-up. A pick-me-up is something that might give you energy. Like coffee is a pick-me-up, right?
Coffee is a great pick-me-up.
It makes me think of, there's a snack my mom used to make me when I was little, and I still like to make this sometimes. That's like toast with peanut butter, bananas, sometimes like a drizzle of honey. And she would call this a peanut butter pick-me-upper, because it's like something that gives you a lot of energy. All the fat from the peanut butter, the banana, the like sugar from the banana.
I like that creative way of constructing phrases in English too, like a pick-me-upper, which is something that picks you up. You add that ER at the end. Nice. And it puts you together as well, right? Like it's something that puts you together in a way.
Yeah.
Or no.
Put me together. That makes me think more of like someone that went through a crisis or a really challenging time in their life. And so it's like, you know, if you're giving me support, you're helping me to put back to pieces. You're helping me to get my life together again. It makes me think too of like you put together a puzzle that's all in pieces. You find how to put the pieces together so it's whole again.
Maybe this is what the line kind of makes you envision picture here, right? It's like, I'm in pieces, pick me up and put me together. So you just pick up the pieces and put the pieces together like a puzzle. So in the chorus, the next line, he will say, these are the days we've been waiting for. On days like these, who could ask for more? So in there, you can see another more basic phrasal verb to wait for something, right? That's the preposition that you want to use with wait. Wait for somebody. And now let's move on to a song by Taylor Swift. Now, of all songs here, I think this may be the one that our younger audience knows the most, right?
Could be.
Could be. And this one is called We Are Never Getting Back Together. Right? What does that mean, by the way, to get back together?
Yeah, it already has one like, it already has a phrasal verb right in there in the title, right?
Mm-hmm.
It also makes me think of another song, Get Back by the Beatles.
Get back to where you once belonged.
So if you get back somewhere, it's you return somewhere. And then when you apply this other word to it together, get back together, then it's like you're returning to a relationship after you've already broken up. So if you get back together, you broke up, but then you're deciding to give it another shot. And this is Taylor Swift's like, she likes this genre, right? Of like breakup songs and so on.
It's most of them, I think, are like this. And you use another phrasal verb there to break up, like to split, to stop being in a relationship, right? And then you can come back together or get back together and be a couple again. So let me sing the first verse, which is quite full of storytelling, and we can break up some of the advanced vocabulary there. I remember when we broke up the first time, saying this is it, I've had enough. Cause like we hadn't seen each other in a month, when you said you needed space. What? Then you come around again and say, baby, I miss you, I swear I'm gonna change. Trust me, remember how that lasted for a day. I say I hate you, we break up, you call me, I love you. Break up, we already covered that, right? So I remember when we broke up the first time. And it's funny because in the song, they break up like multiple hundreds of times, you know?
Yeah. It's one of those relationships that it's on and off. On and off. Yeah, that's great. What does that mean if someone or if a couple is on and off?
It's basically like that. They're breaking up and getting back together and breaking up again. And
it's like Rachel and I was going to say Chandler. Rachel and Ross from Friends.
Then she'll say, you know, once they break up, they'll say like, this is it. I've had enough. It's an advanced expression there, to have enough or something. What is that?
If you've had enough of something, it's you don't want it anymore. You're full of it. You could also say you're fed up. It's like, I don't want it anymore. I think a nice way to think about this might be, for example, if you just, for chocolate, maybe you go on a chocolate binge, a chocolate ice cream binge, you know, you just eat so much that it's like you're fed up. You can't eat anymore. You're going to throw up or vomit if you try to eat any more ice cream, chocolate ice cream. So
next we have another phrasal verb that we have already seen. So it showed up again. This phrasal verb here. Then you come around and say, right? Then you come around again and say. We know what that means. The person suddenly showed up at her place, at her house again, saying, baby, I miss you. I swear I'm going to change. Trust me. But remember how that lasted for a day. Because last time he said that whole like promise that he didn't keep just lasted for a day, right?
Right. Yeah. If something lasts for, it's like the duration of it, right? Like the movie lasted for 90 minutes.
So now we get into the bridge and the chorus. So she say, ooh, we called it off again last night, but ooh, this time I'm telling you, we are never, ever, ever getting back together, Ethan. We are never, ever, ever getting back together. So they called it off again last night. What is that?
If you call something off, you cancel it. But in the case of a relationship, it's like you break up again. You call off the relationship.
Right. But you can call off a meeting, right? Or an event. You literally call the person like, hey, let's postpone or let's reschedule. You're calling it off. Okay, so in the next verse, after the chorus, there's more phrasal verbs that I think is really interesting. She'll say, I'm really gonna miss you picking fights, and me falling for the screaming that I'm right, and you hide away and find your peace of mind.
With some, there's a nice expression here, to pick a fight. That just means to start a fight, right? And then she says
That maybe you didn't
that
have to, right? You're picking a fight, kind of has that connotation.
Exactly. Yeah. My brother would do this a lot when we were little. I don't know if you had that issue with your brother. Like,
a little bit, yeah.
I think brothers tend to pick fights with each other. She says that she falls for it. So maybe she's talking about probably his promises, false promises he makes. She falls for it. What does that mean?
To be deceived, to be tricked into something, right? Like you're falling for.
So, but this is like with the case that she's saying falling for it, but it's interesting too, because you can say fall for someone. If you fall for someone, it's like you fall in love with them.
That is true, yeah.
You could say, I'm really falling for you. It means like I'm really, Gaga over you.
Yeah. That's interesting because there is that play on words there, because you can fall for someone, but if you fall for something, fall for it, you are being tricked. Like you think it's something, but it's not. It's not the truth. It's not the case. And
the final one, hide away. You would hide away and find your peace of mind.
So somebody who just like walks away and vanishes, disappears, they're hiding away. In this case, like maybe she's trying to contact him, but he's hiding. He's not responding. He's on purpose.
He's ghosting her. Maybe that's a nice expression, right?
Nice, yeah. And he does that so he can find his peace of mind, as he says, probably. And she also finished that verse with saying like, find his peace of mind with some indie record that's much cooler than mine. So a record is like a disc, like an album that you can listen to from an artist.
Indie, I think, comes from independent, right?
Independent.
Like it's meaning it's not mainstream. It's not pop music, popular music, right?
Which she is. So.
And she is pop, so yeah. And
she's totally
because it's just
mainstream.
like her tone in it, which is funny because you don't tend to hear this in songs. Is like very sarcastic. Like that's so much cooler than mine.
Because that's probably she's just imitating him, right? Maybe.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. But I still feel that whenever I listen to one of her songs, I can get into it just because of the storytelling and her interpretation.
The storytelling, the writing. She's a great songwriter, and she's like so prolific. Like, love her or hate her, I just feel like she has that every year she tends to put out an album with like tons of songs like this. So
to put out an album, it's another phrasal verb. What does that mean?
You release it. You put it out. You release it.
Now let's get into the final one here from this list of songs that we put together for this lesson. This one is by Incubus. The name of the song is Wish You Were Here. There is Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here, right? How I wish you were here.
Yeah, I love that song.
Yeah, it's not that one, even though I love that one too. But this one, I used to sing it a lot when I was playing more often, like guitar and singing in like 2010, 2011. And I had like a band, and this is a song that we would play. So I was not the singer, but I believe I can sing this. I dig my toes into the sand. The ocean looks like 1,000 diamonds strewn across a blue blanket. I lean against the wind, pretend that I am weightless, and in this moment I am happy, happy. I wish you were here. Oh man, I love this. There's another verse which has some other expressions, but let's just see what's in this one. Dig your toes into the sand. I dig my toes into the sand. What does that mean?
So if you dig into something, it's just literally like you go down into the ground. So this is a very easy one to imagine, that if you're sitting on a beach and you're kind of like, bringing up the sand over your feet with your toes.
You're sinking maybe your feet into the sand as well. So the ocean in that nice picture there, it looks like 1,000 diamonds strewn across a blue blanket. What is that? Do you know that one? Strewn across a blue blanket?
I do know that one, but I'm trying to think if it's like strew across. It sounds weird because you often hear it in this way, strewn across, as more of an adjective or adverb. But I guess it's strew across, which it's usually like you're taking particles, like something small thing, and you're spreading it. So it makes me think of, for example, when people get married, there's this tradition, at least in the States, that people throw rice at them. So you might, after have like the ground, there's rice strewn across the ground where the newly married couple was walking.
Oh yeah. Nice application for that. In this case, it's more poetic, right? Like you can imagine that the ocean is like a blue blanket, and then on top of it, there's like all the texture of the waves, you know, which looks like a little bit white, a little bit off blue, and on top of that blanket, you have these diamonds strewn across it. Nice,
like the sun
there.
probably reflecting over the waves, right?
Exactly. So in that situation, he is leaning against the wind. Again, this is more poetic. You can't really lean against the wind, right? But what does that mean to lean against something?
You put your weight against it. So you might lean against a wall. You know, when you're tired, you kind of like lean back. I'm leaning back against my chair now, if people are watching.
It's a nice particle there, against, that you can use with other verbs, right? Or other expressions. Your back up against the wall. It's another phrase there you could say. So yeah, to lean against something is that. And if you lean against the wind, you can't really do that. You'd fall. But
sometimes if it's strong enough.
Like
when I was skiing last week, and there was like one day that the wind was so strong that is like just had to like put your hands out and like not give any effort because it just pushed you forward.
Yeah, I don't think that's what he means here, though.
Probably not.
Can you imagine? It's like an intense day. Anyway, so the second verse goes like this. I lay my head onto the sand. The sky resembles a backlit canopy with holes punched in it. I'm counting UFOs, signal them with my lighter. And in this moment I am happy. I wish you were here. So cool, right? Like the sky resembles a backlit canopy with holes punched in it. So, like you can really picture it. Like, what is that? Like a canopy, by the way.
Yeah, this is a type of bed, like the old-fashioned ones that have like a sheet, kind of like it has like 4 posts and then like a sheet over it, so you can, or I guess it'd be like curtains. So if you wanted to like close and have privacy on the actual bed, but this isn't so common nowadays. And it's really nice imagery if you imagine you were laying in this type of bed that has like sheet over it, but it has a bunch of holes punched in it, meaning if holes are punched into something, it's just like they're born through it, they're created holes in it, and I guess like light going through it, so it's like looks like UFOs. I don't know if this guy took something, if he's on something, because
maybe. I mean, he's saying words like the sky resembles a backlit canopy. He's just like lying there, right? Yeah. As if he was like on bed, but in bed, but watching the sky. Anyway, so this one, as I was saying, is a song that I was sing a lot in play more than 10 years ago. And it reminds me of when I went to another state. When I was 18, I actually moved to São Paulo to start a rock band.
Yeah, you've been mentioning this in so many podcasts, and we've been meaning to like actually, we're just teasing the story. I haven't even heard this. Like I've heard you mention it, but I'm curious about the nitty gritty, the details.
Yeah, you said we're teasing, or I'm teasing you guys with this.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
If you tease someone, it's kind of like you give them a taste of something, but you leave them wanting more.
So let's get into the nitty gritty of the story here, meaning the details. When I was 18, I actually left my mom's house and moved to a state that's like 3,000 kilometers away. So like 3 hours by plane. And I did that so I could start a band with a buddy. I met him on social media, and we...
Wow, you didn't even know him in person?
No.
Oh, and so that was really throwing caution to the wind.
It really was.
We heard that expression before.
So I stayed at his house. He lived with his parents, so it was not the most comfortable thing, but I think for them it was even more uncomfortable because I stayed there for 1 month.
This rando coming out from another part of the country and staying on their couch.
Exactly. I called them like the week before just to like, hey, that be okay? Just for a few days, I will find a place to stay. And I didn't. I struggled to find another house to rent, and I stayed there for a month. They actually moved, and I helped them move, I would put stuff in the truck and everything. So when they went to the new place, I went with them. So I was there still for another week. And eventually I rented the house that they were staying before, which was a small house. So for me, it was good. Yeah. I found that one place. Yeah. So me and this friend of mine, we initially were looking for bandmates and for people to play with, but we couldn't find anyone. And I was running out of money, and I was like, okay, what we're going to do. And then we thought about let's start playing like acoustic guitar and just like play at bars.
Yeah, global citizen. So if you want to watch the rest of the episode and get to hear all about Izzy's story while also learning even more expressions of vocabulary, connected speech, and so much more, you can do that exclusively over on the RealLife English app. All you have to do is click the link in the description below, which will take you directly to this episode, and you can finish it up there. While you're there, you can also use the innovative vocabulary flashcards to study with spaced repetition, which works along with your brain to remind you of new words and expressions right when you're about to forget them, so that you never forget them and you have them available to you when you get in conversation. Because I know it's really frustrating when you're talking to someone and that word that you know that you've learned simply will not come to your mouth. So you put in so much effort today. Don't forget all these new expressions that you learned, like show up, put together, call off, and so many more. The flashcards are waiting for you over in the app. You just have to look for RealLife English in your favorite app store, or just click the link down below. See you there.